In the fifth dimension, it is more difficult for us to understand because it is purely mental. In the fifth dimension, everything can become a reality. We can make an ocean out of our set of hair. We can make rain out of 2 tears. And we can make a piece of mystery out of our 2 eyes. In the fifth dimension, an artist can mold matter into anything he desires. In the fifth dimension, which is purely mental, the use of reasoning is transcendent. In the sixth dimension, we have an even greater difficulty understanding because this corresponds to the spiritual plane and is the next highest before the dimension of the absolute. When the individual is aware of the existence of these 7 dimensions of space, he becomes aware that there is a great amount of tools that he normally does not use. When the individual discovers such tools and begins to apply them, he marvels himself of the things that he can accomplish and how, when perceiving the ordinary world, his ability to see the larger picture increases. So, for example, an individual who has high levels of cholesterol, high levels of triglycerides, high levels of glucose or uric acid believes that how he perceives things, others likewise are perceiving them. He believes the way that he touches them, the way that he feels them, or the way that he seeks them, likewise others do, and this is not true. When the individual does not have the points of equilibrium delineated by nature, then we lose a great part of our reality. The use of our rational mind is limited for the study of Kabbalah. In order for you to understand me, I have to use a dualistic language. If I say that there is an above, you automatically understand this because you have the awareness that there is a below. If I say that there is a within, you automatically understand this because you have the awareness that there is a without. In this way, then, we are operating through a duality consciousness. In the deep study of Kabbalah, there comes a time in which the use of our ordinary language is limited. The individual has to transcend the duality consciousness, and he has to begin to operate through unity consciousness. It is here where we enter into a conflict because of the way we are accustomed to operate our mind and because of the way we are accustomed to operate our senses. It comes a time in which the student of Kabbalah has to transcend the ordinary language as well as the ordinary writing. And his foundation has to be based on diagrams because otherwise we will have to write volumes and volumes and catalogs of information. And our goal is to reach a spirit of synthesis. The study of Kabbalah's foundation is based upon the tree of life. When we are talking about symbols, we are referring to metaphors, and it is precisely here when we have to create diagrams. The Kabbalah's foundation is based mainly on the Torah or the Pentateuch, which are the books in which the bases are written and in which the launching platforms are found. The way the Torah or the Pentateuch was written involves the use of 22 codes and 7 meanings for its interpretation. There are individuals who read the Bible daily, and because they do not know the codes nor the meanings, they interpret the Bible literally. We marvel when we study the Torah or the Pentateuch from the scientific and philosophical point of view. For example, the first word that the Torah or the Bible begins with is Bereshit. Bereshit is composed of 2 words, which are Bere and Shit. The translated meaning of these words is to create, and in reality only one letter in the Aramaic language changes its meaning. From the scientific point of view, nothing is created and nothing is destroyed, and everything is only transformed. When we change only one letter to the word vere, it means to emanate, emanated in 6. When you read the Bible, it is said that in the beginning, God created the world in 6 days. So one thing is create, and another thing is to emanate. This is extremely important because nothing has a beginning and nothing has an end. When we begin to talk about this, we begin to have a different understanding, and then we become aware that this is not the first time that we are in this room, and neither will this be the last time, nor have we come to this place by random chance or coincidence. Likewise, we have not arrived to this planet Earth by random chance or coincidence. We have arrived to a mother's womb because there has been a cause and there has been an effect. When we do not become aware of all of the events, exists what is called the visible worlds and the invisible worlds. For example, if I point to the front of this room with this laser beam, you are only able to see the point of light that is formed from the projection of this laser beam. However, if I were to place between the point of light and the emitter of the laser beam a vaporizer, incense, or if I were to place something that would create smoke, I would then become aware of the ray of light that exists between the laser emitter and the point of light on the wall, which with my normal sight I am unable to perceive. In this way exists what is called the visible worlds and the invisible worlds, but they become invisible when we are unable to grasp these things, and they become visible when we begin to grasp them. Simply speaking, when an individual has lost part of his vision, he cannot see from far away, nor when he is near an object. But when he uses glasses to focus correctly, then he is able to see, and he can also perceive things differently. In the Qabbalistic tradition, the Torah, or the Pentateuch, is the written law. The Kabbalah is a Jewish mysticism and the deeper meaning of the Torah. The literal meaning of Kabbalah is reception or tradition. In other words, Kabbal is the verb for receptivity. For this reason, we have to talk about how the manifestation of life does not belong exclusively to this planet. It would be too arrogant to believe that in the universe we are the only living beings. We are living in an era in which we have broken the speed of sound. Just a few years ago, it was claimed that boarding an airplane was a sin because we were entering into divine territories that were not part of our domain. The same thing was claimed by the rabbi, by the priest, and the pastor, and then they became aware that no law was being violated, but in reality, that divinity was expressed to be known even more. At the beginning, it was said that it was too difficult to travel out of our planet because traveling beyond the speed of sound would cause the prime materials of the space capsule to melt. However, the space capsules not only are able to travel 6 or 7 times faster than the speed of sound, but also prime materials have been created capable of withstanding the friction of the melting of the prime materials, and now we are capable of breaking away from the Earth's gravitational pull. From the philosophical point of view, Jesus said, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." So the belief that this planet Earth is the only planet that has living beings is a false pride.